Shabbat Shalom, Shana Tova, Good Yontif. Invite you to take your seats. We're going to get started in just a moment on page 21. Shana Tova, Shabbat Shalom, Good Yontif. We get to say a lot of really special greetings to each other today. Welcome to Yom Kippur Vador services. I want to start with a little teaching that I've been thinking a lot about coming into Yom Kippur, that someone who makes a mistake, a sin in formal language, or someone makes a mistake and then repairs it, is closer to God than someone who didn't make a mistake at all in the first place. So the old rabbis illustrate this with a rope. If you can imagine a rope between us and God, between us and each other, and when there's a break in that rope, we have to tie it back together. When we tie it back together, we're that much closer after we do. So that's really what we're doing here. We are, of course, praying. We are singing. We are getting closer together. We are making our connections stronger throughout the next hour and a half or so together. And we are so glad that you all are here to do that as one community, as we all do this work on Yom Kippur together. So we're going to start that with our call to worship, the Baruch Hu, that can be found on the bottom of page 21. And if you are able to do so, I invite you to rise at your seats. And I invite you to join with me reading in the English on page 22. Praised are you, Adonai, ruler of the universe. In your mercy, you make light shine over the earth and all its inhabitants. And in your goodness, you renew day by day the work of creation. How great are your works, O God! In wisdom you have made them all. The heavens declare your glory. The earth reveals your creative power. You form light and darkness, bring harmony into nature and peace to the human heart. Shine a new light over Zion. May we soon see its glow. Praised are you, Adonai, creator of light. We join together on page 24 for our prayer for oneness and unity, the Shema. Everybody may be seated. We're going to continue with the Ve'ahavta, same page.
וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם אלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
We read responsively on the top of page 25. God, you brought our people out of Egypt. You gave us hope and freedom. As our ancestors yearned for freedom, so do we.
What does it mean to be completely free?
To break free from cruelty in our homes and schools.
Let us reach out to welcome strangers.
To break free from the slavery of selfishness.
Let us reach out with tzedakah.
To break free from thoughtless behavior. Let us choose the path of mitzvot, the path of freedom, the path our ancestors traveled at the shores of the sea. Prayer is many things to many different people because it is both a personal experience and also a communal one. So I'll encourage you as we move throughout this service to take note of the themes of apology and forgiveness, tradition, peace, gratitude, and also participate in what really is an annual Jewish platinum record around the high holidays of our timeless and ancient tunes. So we are going to turn to page 26. If you are able to do so, I invite you to rise.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu Elohei Abraham Elohei Yitzhak Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim V'Konei HaKol V'Zochei Chasdei Avot V'Imahot U'Levi Geula V'Nei B'neihem L'ma'an Shemo Be'ahava Zoreinu L'chaim Melech Havetz B'Chaim V'Hodeinu B'Sefer HaChaim L'ma'ancha Elohim Ha'im V'Hodeinu B'Sefer HaChaim L'ma'ancha Elohim Ha'im Melech Ozer Moshiach U'Magen Baruch atah Adonai Magen Avraham Ezrat Sarah
Atah Kippur le'olam Adonai, mechayeh hakol atah, rav lechoshia,
Mori Patah Mechalkel Chaim V'Chesed Mechayeh Hakol Berachamim Rabim Somech Noflim Ve'Hofech Olim U'Matir Asurim U'Mekayem Emunato B'Shevei Afar Milchamocha Ba'al Gevurot U'Mito Melech Melech Memitu Mechayeh U'Matzmiya Yeshua Ne'eman atah l'chayot hakol Baruch atah Adonai Mechayeh hakol.
Invite everybody to take their seats. We're going to turn to page 28. And again, I will invite you to join with me in this reading responsively. On Rosh Hashanah, we reflect. On Yom Kippur, we consider who shall live for the sake of others, who shall leave a heritage of life. Whose hunger shall be for good, who shall thirst for justice and right. Who shall be plagued by fear of the world? Who shall strangle for lack of friends? Who shall go forth in the quest for truth? Who shall be locked in a prison of self? Who shall be poor in the midst of possessions? Who shall be rich, content with their lot?
We are gifts and we are blessings. We are His story. blessed.
and we are holy.
We are children of your way. And the words that bring us meaning, we will have the strength to sing. Vador, Vador, we protect this chain. From generation to generation, Vador, these lips will praise your name. Vador, nagid golecha. Vador, we protect this chain. From generation to generation, Vador, these lips will praise your name.
There's something very special about hearing those words, Lador Vador, from Sela, who in many ways is, they're leaders in this generation and the next generation, and led by Cantor Goldstein and Alan Goodness, really illustrating this beautiful Lador Vador element. That's the name for our service, as we pass traditions and meaning and such soulful, sacred music down from generation to generation. So we also today, it is Yom Kippur. In the Torah we call this Shabbat Shabbaton, the Shabbat of all Shabbats. It also happens to take place on regular Shabbat, which it doesn't cancel out. If we were to play Jewish holiday rock, paper, scissors, Yom Kippur would win, but we do not get rid of Shabbat, and we still honor Shabbat and delight in Shabbat. On the top of page 29, we invite you to join in. Let's read together at the bottom of the page. Our God and God of ages past, may our rest on this day be pleasing in your sight. Sanctify us with your mitzvot, and let your Torah be our way of life. Sanctify us with your goodness, Gladden us with your salvation. In your gracious love, Adonai, let your holy Sabbath remain our heritage, that all Israel, hallowing your name, may find rest and peace. Purify our hearts to serve you in truth. Your word is true and enduring forever. Blessed are you, Adonai, who sanctifies the Sabbath and Israel on the Day of Atonement. So we're going to turn to page 31. As we get ready to sing our prayer for gratitude. I mean, there's any number of popular psychology studies you can look at that will say a practice of gratitude will lead to a happier life. That is true. One additional thing that this prayer book gives us is in the opening words to the prayer we're about to sing, we'll say, V'chol ha'chaim yodu chasela. All of life joins together giving thanks. So this is not a private gratitude journal. That is good, but the prayer book emphasizes the practice of when you come together, join together with the people to the left of you, to the right of you, all creatures beyond you, and participate in this ancient practice of gratitude, then we're entering into something very, very special. I'm going to pass it over to Sela, who will sing their namesake, Sela. We're going to start 6 lines up from the bottom of the Hebrew. It's 2 words in, whether you use the Hebrew or the transliteration, with those words, V'chol ha'chaim yodu chasela. We pray for peace every time we get together. We do, yes? Yes? Okay. We do, confirmed. We do pray for peace every time we get together, even in more difficult times, even after a more difficult year. And this can be a challenge to feel like we're praying and praying for peace without an answer directly given to us. And this might be challenging, but I also want to offer when we pray for peace, we're also praying for ourselves to not give up on peace because we need it. And while we do that for each other, and we sing the words, Sim Shalom, grant us peace, we're signaling that we are not giving up on peace. We are not going to get comfortable with a world at war, and we are going to cultivate and continue to cultivate and practice peace at the very forefront of our beings. We are going to sing for peace, pray for peace on the top of page 32. We now have a few moments for some silent prayer and reflection. That is so beautiful. Just gotta say. So I'm about to tell a story. So you can close your books for a moment. This story is nonfiction, which means that it really happened. However, a fiction writer named Edgar Carrot told this story, so we can't be totally sure. The important part is that it tells us something that definitely is true. Edgar Carrot grew up in Israel and had pretty bad asthma his whole life, and he hated it. He wanted to be a soccer star, but his asthma prevented him from playing beyond middle school. He wanted to be a big, popular, athletic guy, but never grew up to be big or athletic, largely due to what he disliked about himself the most, which was his asthma. Meanwhile, he did grow up to be popular, very popular, a popular writer. And just before he published his first book, about 30 years ago, he needed to write an introduction. And this took place over Hanukkah. So as he was brainstorming what he might write in his very first introduction to his very first book, he decided to take a little break and took some Hanukkah candles and put them in the menorah, lit the shamash, and began to light the rest of the candles. That's all he remembers because the next part of the story takes place in the hospital. While Edgar Carrot lit his menorah, he inhaled smoke, which triggered his asthma, and he passed out. He was stable, but he was having a difficult time breathing. That's when a big, athletic-looking doctor came into the room and asked him, "What's wrong?" Edgar, in a raspy voice, between short breaths, said,
Well, you see, I was trying to write my very first introduction to my very first book, but I decided to take a break.
and he goes on and goes on. The doctor put his hand on Edgar Carrot's shoulder and said, "Easy, easy. Not all that. Don't need the whole thing. What's wrong?" And Edgar Carrot said, "Trouble breathing." The doctor gave him a big slap and said, now was that so hard?" And Edgar Carrot, in that moment, realized it wasn't so hard. He only needed 2 words: trouble breathing. And that's when Edgar Carrot realized he had a gift. He could fit a big story with a lot of meaning into very few words. And that's the story that he wrote about in his introduction to his first book. More so, he realized that he had this gift because his whole life he's been out of breath due to his asthma. He needed to fit his big stories with lots of meaning into very few words, which is quite a skill, certainly not a skill that everyone has. That's one reason why Edgar Carrot is now an international best-selling author who makes a living telling stories and inspiring others to tell theirs. What began as a limitation, something he didn't like about himself, preventing him from becoming a soccer star, turned out to be somewhat of a superpower, shaping him into a master of language and storytelling. Now, I'll turn to you. On a day when we reflect on ourselves, our lives, our characters, what is it about ourselves that we are not so proud of. A characteristic, a mistake, a behavior. Just like Etgar Keret's asthma, these don't have to stay that way. And that's the part of the story that is definitely true. The things about ourselves that we struggle with can also turn into superpowers when we confront them, and they can shape us into the people that we want to be. And Yom Kippur is a day to do just that. So, Gamar Chatima Tova. Everybody be sealed for a good year ahead. We are going to reflect on some of those behaviors that we might hold individually or as a community together on page 33. And I'll invite you to join with me in the English. We all have committed offenses. Together we confess these human sins: the sins of arrogance, bigotry, and cynicism, of deceit and egotism, flattery and greed, injustice and jealousy. Some of us kept grudges, were lustful, malicious, or narrow-minded. Others were obstinate or possessive, quarrelsome, rancorous, or selfish. There was violence, weakness of will, xenophobia. We yielded to temptation and showed zeal for bad causes. Page 34. And now together on page 34. Al chet shechatanu lefanecha, for the sin we have committed against you openly or secretly. Al chet shechatanu lefanecha, for the sin we have committed against you in our thoughts or with our words. Al chet shechatanu lefanecha, for the sin we have committed against you by disrespect for parents and teachers. Al chet shechatanu lefanecha, for the sin we have committed against you by hardening our hearts or turning our backs. Al chet shechatanu lefanecha, for the sin we have committed against you by taking your name in vain. Al chet shechatanu lefanecha, for the sin we have committed against you by dishonesty in our work or in our schools. Al chet shechatanu lefanecha, for the sin we have committed against you by making promises we did not mean to keep. Al chet shechatanu lefanecha, for the sin we have committed against you by hurting others in any way. Ve'al kulam Eloha slichot, slach lanu, machal lanu, kaper lanu, for everything that we have done wrong, please excuse us, please pardon us, please forgive us. We are going to turn to page 35, and if you are able to do so, I invite you to rise. So you just undo the top there, pull that down. Avinu Malkeinu, hear our voice. Please join with me. Avinu Malkeinu, we have sinned before you. Avinu Malkeinu, have compassion on us and our children. Avinu Malkeinu, make an end to sickness, war, and famine. Avinu Malkeinu, make an end to all oppression. Avinu Malkeinu, inscribe us in the book of life and righteousness. Avinu Malkeinu, bring us a good year. Avinu Malkeinu, be kind to us and answer us. Though we have little merit, treat us generously and with kindness, and be our help.
Avinu Malkeinu, Avinu Malkeinu, Avinu Malkeinu, Aleinu v'aleinu, Yeh banu asi, aseh banu, tzedaka v'chesed, aseh banu, tzedaka v'chesed, le'moshienu, aseh banu, tzedaka v'chesed, aseh banu, tzedaka v'chesed, le'moshienu. Avinu Malkeinu, Avinu Malkeinu, Avinu Malkeinu, Aleinu v'aleinu, Yeh banu asi.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh v'norah Shemo.
מציון תצא תורה, דבר אדוני מירושלים. כי מציון תצא תורה, דבר אדוני מירושלים. מציון תצא תורה, דבר אדוני מירושלים. מציון תצא תורה, דבר אדוני מירושלים. ברוך שנתן תורה לעמו, תורה לעמו ישראל. ברוך שנתן תורה לעמו ישראל, בקדושתו מציון תצא תורה, דבר אדוני מירושלים. מציון תצא תורה, דבר אדוני מירושלים. כי מציון תצא תורה, דבר אדוני מירושלים. מציון תצא תורה, דבר אדוני מירושלים. ברוך שנתן תורה לעמו, תורה לעמו ישראל. ברוך שנתן תורה לעמו ישראל, בקדושתו מציון תצא תורה, דבר אדוני מירושלים. 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 ברוך שנתן תורה לעמו, תורה לעמו ישראל. ברוך שנתן תורה לעמו ישראל, בקדושתו ישמחו השמיים. ישמחו השמיים, ישמחו השמיים, ותגר הארץ. ישמחו השמיים, ישמחו השמיים, ישמחו השמיים, ותגר הארץ. ירח הים, 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 ישמחו השמיים, ישמחו השמיים, ותגר הארץ.
Everybody may be seated, unless that is you are a Mahonik. Here, the Goodman Center Family Education. You can come on down. That's right, all Machonics can make their way down. While you make your way, excellent. This is great. This is what it is. The Machonics roll in a nice big group. Excellent. You can come on, keep coming, fill this out. Fill this out. You can come towards us. You can come towards us, come towards Ryan. Talia and Sammy can take one step up. Machonics, we can move it this way. We can fill the bima, fill the bima, fill the bima. Yes. Song leaders count as Machonics. Excellent. Excellent. Great. We've got a couple more making their way down. Just take in, this is a beautiful sight. These are all, let's see, 7th, 8th graders, high schoolers who volunteer their time in our Hebrew school and make it an amazingly warm and inviting and fun place. So you all have the honor of giving us the Torah blessing, this Aliyah. Before, I just want to introduce our Torah portion very briefly, medium briefly. Talia and Sam will read from the Torah portion called Nitzavim, our Yom Kippur Torah reading. It's going to be projected up here in a moment. It's also on page 37 if you prefer to follow along in your books. So much of Yom Kippur is deep prayer, asking for forgiveness. It's, in some ways, it's solemn. This Torah portion is one of total empowerment. As you're about to hear, the words are, Atem nitzavim kolchem. All of you standing before us on this day, that includes every gender, job, role in society. And then we read, well, you think maybe it's hard to follow the Torah in all of its ways. Actually, it's not in the heavens. It's not beyond the sea. It's in your mouths. It's in your hearts. And then, finally, we will read that we still have the power to choose blessing and choose goodness and choose life. So I find this a very empowering Torah portion to read, all the more so read by Talia and Sam and blessed by our machonics here. So on the count of 3, we're going to say the Torah blessing. Yad. Sam's got the yad. Great. All right, machonics. All right, on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Le'olam Va'ed.
Amen. Amen. Atem nitzavim hayom kulchem lifnei Adonai Elohechem Roshechem Shivtechem Ziknechem V'shotrechem Kol Ish Yisrael Tabchem Neshechem V'gerecha Asher Bekerev Machanecha Mechotev Eitzecha Ad Shoev Memecha Le'avraha Bivrit Adonai Elohecha Uv Alato Asher Adonai Elohecha Koret Imcha Hayom Leman Hakim Otecha Hayom Lo Le'am Vehu Yehye Leha Le'Elohim Ka'asher Dibelach Leha Asher Nishba La'avoteha Le'Avraham Le'Yitzhak U'Yaakov Ve'lo Itachem Levadechem Anochi Koret et haberit hazot ve'et ha'ala hazot ki et asher yeshno po imanu omeid hayom Lifnei Adonai Eloheinu Ve'ed Asher Einenu Po Imanu Hayom.
Galati lachem hayom ki avod tovedun lo tarechun yamim al ha'adama asher ata over et hayarden lavo shama l'risha hayidoti vachem hayom et hashamayim vet haaretz hachayim v'hamavet natati lefanecha habracha v'hachala uvacharta v'chayim laman tichye ata v'zarecha lahava et Adonai Elohecha lishmoa bekolo uldov kavo ki hu chayecha ve'orech yamecha lashevet el hadama asher nishba Adonai lavotecha lavracham liyitzhak u'Yaakov latet lahem.
So good. I'll be right back. Okay, Machonics. On 3. 1, 2, 3. So once again, Machonics, thank you so much for honoring our community, throughout the week and every Sunday. We have over 90 Machonics who come and help out in the religious school in very meaningful and substantial ways. So thank you for participating in this honor and giving us all the great privilege and naches, that's like a Yiddish word for a lot of pride to see you all up here. And Sam and Talia, thank you so much for sharing your gifts with us. You are already leaders, well, in quite a few ways in the synagogue. Noticeably on display today, your leadership with Sela, leading our prayers. And thank you so much for your beautiful, beautiful Torah reading, bringing to life these words of empowerment with each of yours stepping into this role and chanting so beautifully for us. So thank you. Machonics, you can head back to your seats. So around the holiday time, when we just have a heightened awareness of our lives and the people in them, we now direct our attention, our prayers toward those in our lives in need of healing, any sort of healing, of mind, of body, of spirit, those who can use a little bit of extra healing and strength and support, their caretakers. And at this point, I'll invite you all to share the names of people you are thinking of in need of healing. We'll do this all at one time, so bringing all of the people on our minds together into this space. Let each other know what we're bringing with us, who we're bringing with us, and that we are very much thinking of them in their recoveries. If you're thinking of someone at this time, I'll invite you to share their name aloud. And we'll say, Baruch atah Adonai, Rofei HaCholim. Blessed is the one who heals. And for those we named, as well as those we are just thinking of, we say, we wish them a refuah shlema, a complete and whole and speedy recovery. We're now going to turn to page 39. If you're able to do so, we invite you to rise as we start to put the Torah back to the ark. Not super heavy.
וזאתה תורה ששם משה לפני בני ישראל על פי אדוני ביד משה וזאתה תורה ששם משה לפני בני ישראל על פי אדוני ביד
remain standing and turn to page 41.
Aleinu l'shabach l'adon hakol, l'teit gedula le'otzer breshit, shelo asanu kriyei haratzot, velo samanu kimishpechot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkeinu kahem, vegor aleinu kechol hamonam, v'anachnu korim, u'mishtachavim u'modim, lifnei melech malchei hamalchim, hakadosh baruch hu, v'ne'emar, v'chaya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz, bayom hahu, yeh Adonai echad, u'shemo echad.
Everybody may be seated. As I mentioned a moment ago, around the holiday times, we are especially aware of our lives and circumstances, and that can include those who are no longer with us, who we might especially remember at times of family and communal gathering. So at this time, we are going to remember those people who are no longer with us, but whose lives and impacts we very much carry with us. And we are remembering those whose families are still in a traditional period of mourning: Lori Don, David Garfield, Elizabeth Krulik, Mitchell Miller, Robert Pinzer, Miriam Mickey Port, and Lois Ruderman, as well as those whose yahrzeits, the anniversary of their passing, falls around this Shabbat and this Yom Kippur. Jason Alfred, Alice K. Altheimer, James H. Becker, Emily J. Bernstein, Pearl L. Cannell, Ernestine Caro, Beatrice Colburn, Eugene A. Delson, Irene K. Don, Linda Eubanks Drescher, David L. Dubin, Milton Q. Ellenby, Estelle Eisenberg Eubanks, Larry H. Fern, Rochelle Fishman, Edward Ginsberg, David Goldenberg, Tilly Goldstein, Bernard H. Good, Robert Goodman, Ida Gordon, Betty Green, Eli H. Grossman, Elias S. Hackner, Marion Miller Holtzman, Dobby Libby Kagan, Dr. Alan B. Klein, Dee Dee Klein, Fred Cortlander, Donald A. Liebold, Ray Levine, Rosalie Levy, John Lund, Abby S. Magdovitz Wasserman, Sadie Myers, Richard D. Miller, Isidore Nachman, Rosalind Estelle Netchin, Robert Newberger, Samuel Oberman, Morris G. Polk, Anna Portez, George Portez, Violet Helen Rich, Dr. Marion Marcus Rotman, Edith Schiller, Morris B. Schwartz, Martin L. Sherman, Russell Thomashaw, Dr. Milton Tinsley, Gussie Weissman, Ella H. Woolheim, and Warren Zimilis, as well as anyone else we are especially thinking of who's no longer with us in this moment. I'll invite everybody to turn to page 42. If you are able to do so, please rise as we recite the mourners' Kaddish in their memories. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah. V'yamlich malchutei. b'chayechon uvyomechon uvchaye dechol beit Yisrael ba'agala uvizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehi shmei rabbah mevorach le'alam ulalmei al maya. Yit barach v'yishtabach v'yit pa'ar v'yit ramam v'yit naseh v'yit hadar v'yit aleh v'yit halal shmei dekudsha brichu. Le'ela u'le'ela mikol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru amen. Oseh zichronam livracha. May their memories be for a blessing, and everybody can take a seat. So we are heading towards the conclusion of our 9 a.m. service. As we do, we'll end with some gratitude and announcements. Thank you so much to everyone who participated in this service and really made it what it was. Sela, with your amazing leadership. The string quartet, as well, with your leadership. Thank you to Talia, Eli, Jamie, for taking our Torahs out through the congregation. Thank you to the Winterstein family for joining us up on the bima and opening and closing the ark for us. That's Brett, Michelle, Logan, Hayden, and Brody. Of course, we'll thank Talia doubly so for also reading Torah, and Sam for reading Torah. Thank you so much. As well as thank you to our ushers who welcomed you and created this warm, special, celebratory environment. Thank you to all of the North Shore Congregation Israel staff who has been working pretty much around the clock to make this system run. That's everything from this room and the prayer books to the sound, the programs and events. We are grateful. A couple upcoming things today to note. At 2:15 in the Tross Family Education Center, the FEC, down that way, we are having a conversation called "Is This the Fast I Desire?" based on the Yom Kippur Haftarah. It's usually about some social justice topic. This year, we have the topic is Jewish life on college campuses, and we are very lucky to have a professor and a college student, both from this congregation, who will be participating in the panel, as well as a college administrator. So we'll get different angles of Jewish life on campus over the past year. And 4:15-ish, 4 to 4:15, we are also having a special Eila Ezkara service. This is a Yom Kippur memorial service that we are doing here in particular memory of those who died on October 7th in Israel and in the following aftermath. That will be here in this sanctuary after Mincha and before Yizkor, roughly 4-ish. Upon your exit, please take your prayer books with you to the back. An usher will take them from you. You can place it on a table back there. If you also have a High Holiday pamphlet, I'll ask that you take that with you as well. So we are going to conclude. I'll invite you to rise for our final song, which is Oseh Shalom. The words can be found on the bottom of page 42.
Oseh Shalom Bimromav, Hu Yaseh Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yisrael, Ve'imru
shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael.
Shabbat Shalom, Shana Tova, easy fast if you are fasting. I hope to see you all very soon.